Not too bad. This is the right time, right? You're expecting my call?
Let me check here. All else fails. We actually have you guys at 6:45, but that's okay. My other guy
Oh.
hasn't called in, so as far as I'm concerned, you're on, bud. Tell me a little bit about All Else Fails.
Okay, well, we're a metal band from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It's been around 7 or 8 years, multiple Canadian tours, and put out our brand new album August of last year, so it's been out about a year.
You say brand new. Is this your first album, or tell me a little bit about
No, this is the third full length.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's been going for a little while here.
Yeah, you guys have been around the block, I take it.
Once or twice, anyway.
So, tell me where you came up with the name. What got you inspired? Hey, make me a new fan, man. Talk to me. What all we got there?
Well, there's no good story on the name, so I'll just pass that along. In written interviews, I usually just make something new up every time, but I didn't prepare anything for this one, so I'll skip off of that. But like for what we get our inspiration from, what we do, it's we're a semi-political band, I would say. So we don't. God, we never write love songs. It's we don't do that high school thing. And we're not we're not a black metal band, so it's not just singing about death and doom and gloom and that sort of stuff. So we sing a lot about the world we see around us, whether it's through real life experience or what we see on the news or stuff like that. It tend to be more stuff that we've had at least some personal experience with in some way or another. But it's very socio-political, I would say. So not so much like F the government or whatever, just more about watch out for each other, that kind of thing. So I guess we kind of have a positive message under all the screaming and anger.
And well, nothing's wrong with screaming kind of metal. I'll sit there with my headphones on and just let people scream into my headphones, and I get that all out. It's an energy release, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think most musicians would feel this regardless of genre, but I know that if I couldn't get behind the mic and scream until I was dizzy, I'm certain that anger would come out in some other way, probably, one that would end up with me in jail. So
God.
This is a much better reason or solution, I suppose.
Tell me honestly, you did you scream and get dizzy?
It happens lots for sure. I'm the singer/guitarist or whatever, so with the screaming and the singing and the headbanging on stage and running around and stuff, it's not that uncommon to be a little lightheaded by the end of the night.
I gotta ask one thing though, and this has kind of made me curious because I've watched concert videos of guitarists. These guys with like long hair and they're just swinging their hair around and headbanging and they're guitaring and they're somehow growling out lyrics at the same time. How in the hell do you guys multitask like that?
Years and years of practice is all that comes down to. The singing and guitar playing thing. A lot of guys can do it, a lot of guys can't, but it's like anything else. It's just the amount of time practicing to do it. For example, when we drive, we're doing 4 or 5 different things at once when we do that. Very alien when you first did it when you were 14 or whatever, but now we sit in the car, we barely pay attention to what we're doing, and we still get the places we're going, right? It's kind of the same thing.
Driving with that one hand and the coffee in the other, right?
Yeah, and my cell phone and wanting a cigarette in another, and just hoping cops aren't around to, distracted driving and all that. But no, it's just practice at the end of the day. Like, sorry, I'm probably breaking up a little there. Like anything else, it's, but it's dedication that gets you to the point where you can do those things well, for sure. It's years and years, but yeah.
So what got your?
It's a pretty it's a pretty simple answer, I suppose. Not as exciting as what you were probably hoping for, but
I'm good with simple answers, though. It's straightforward.
Yeah, that's true.
So tell me about some of your influences. What got you guys deciding to do like metal and stuff as opposed to say Yanni?
Well, I guess it's first and foremost, it's do what you love. I've been a metalhead since I was a little kid, and that's just that's the thing that I was interested in when I started the band. So that's kind of the why of it. But I mean, as far as the influences go, that's kind of a different story. I've been very much into metal and punk and grunge and, anything with heavy guitars and aggressive vocals, whether it's, screaming or not. That was always kind of my thing. But we, as a band, have a very, very different style, like array of musical tastes. Our guitar player is a trained jazz musician, so he's, very into this stuff that nobody else in the band can stand. Our bassist is more into like way heavier stuff than I am, death metal, that sort of stuff. And we've played with a handful of different drummers, but we just brought on a new guy who's I guess he's a little bit more kind of like myself, more into metal and punk and that sort of stuff. But I mean, we played from everybody from basic rock drummers to like just hardcore brutal death metal drummers, and it's an interesting thing, when you all have different influences, it leads to a very different sound, and I think that's going a long way to what's making us stand out a little bit from everyone else.
Longevity-wise, I got to ask, because there are some bands out there that have like death metal or new metal, and they do the screaming or the really high, the really out there vocals. How do you guys keep your throats in check, or how do you keep your voices healthy?
Well, it's, there's a big part of it is just learning how to do it right. It's just like singing. It's a technique that you do with your voice that if you're doing it wrong, and it happens to a lot of guys who blow their voices out, especially once they start touring a little more consistently, and, that's kind of the end of it. We just saw that happen with Killswitch Engage, right? But it's a matter of just technique and learning how to, not everybody, but a lot of really good long-term singers have had some sort of vocal instruction at some point or another, especially the guys who've been able to keep the screaming going for so long, because it is definitely harder on your voice than singing. But it's just a matter of keeping your voice under control and, trying to do at least a little bit to keep it healthy. It's, I'd love to say, oh, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do all those things, but it just goes with the territory usually. So it's kind of a hard thing to avoid. But it's just practice like anything else, and it's just making sure to treat your voice like an extremely expensive instrument. You wouldn't spend $5,000 on a guitar and then drop it on the floor and treat it like shit all the time. So you got to be kind of careful with it. But kind of the same thing.
Well, some people wouldn't think of it that way. That's just it. They go, okay, it's just my singing voice, and then they go spend out $5,000 or something for a guitar and an amp and so on. Sounds like.
Well, and that's exactly, and you see bands breaking up because their singers can't last on the road, or, things falling apart because of those issues. That kind of stuff happens a lot. In fact, what you most normally see in that kind of case is the band's just not making it because the singers aren't enjoying it. They don't want to do it anymore. It hurts when you go on stage. It hurts afterwards. They can't talk for a week. And eventually those frustrations just lead to bands dissolving more so than exploding.
Well, 3 albums in, sounds like you guys have been around a bit.
Well, yeah, we've been working on it. That's for sure. It's hard being an indie band, especially where we've been here in Canada. It's not much of a. There's certainly music scenes, and it's a little cliquey, but it's just hard. There's not much money in the music industry left, and so we've changed members a fair amount, over the years and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, you got to do. We do it because we love it. We're by all means a pro band at this level, but at the same time, it's we do it because we love it, not to be billionaire rock stars, because I think we all know that's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah, it sounds like those days are kind of gone by almost.
Oh, they've been gone since the early 90s for sure. It's just let's be honest, music is free now. There's the change in the social outlook on the worth of art, of music, movies and that sort of thing. It's getting to the same point too. There's still a bigger market for it, but music is free. There is people who buy it. iTunes is convenient. I still go to CD stores to buy my disc because I like the artwork and such, but that's not to say that I don't download music. And especially being that our demographic is kids still. It's it's the underage crowd. It's 14 to 18 kind of thing. Those are the kids who really get into the kind of music that we're doing. And they're just going to torrent it on their computers, and that's that. So, you just got to kind of deal with it and hope that somebody at some point comes up with a way to make money in an alternative means for musicians, or that we can do that for ourselves.
Either that or sell a lot of T-shirts.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing that you can't download. That's for sure.
Not yet, at least.
Or yet, anyway. But we're probably not that far off, come to think of it. Holographic band shirt generators and whatever. But
3D printers and the like.
That's the thing you do. You gotta get out. You gotta hit the road and sell shirts and sell CDs at shows and stuff like that. But it's just a different thing. Musicians have to work a little harder, which in some ways is a very good thing, but it just means that everything's different. Everything's changed.
Rock on, rock on. Where have you guys been touring lately?
Well, our last tour, we did the Western Canada thing. I didn't get this. Where are you from? Where am I talking to you at?
The show that I work with is out of actually Salina, Kansas, but I'm over in I'm in Harrisburg, PA.
Okay, but the States. So yeah, we're up in Canada, and the last we actually haven't hit the States yet. We've got a lot of airplay and internet stuff down there, but our last tour was the west coast of Canada. So it was kind of from Alberta, where we are right now, out to the far islands, I suppose, and then back. And the last couple of years, it's been kind of the cross Canada tour thing. So that's what we've been doing of late.
Where can we find you on social media, my friend?
Well, Facebook is the easy one. That's facebook.com/allelsefailscanada. We have a very, very active YouTube page as well, which is youtube.com/allelsefailscanada. And Twitter is allelsefailsca.
All right, and we have been speaking with All Else Fails. And any last words, shout-outs, or anything for your fans?
Outside of thank you very much for listening and keep checking out our music, not so much. I mean, if I was to say anything, I would say take the time, buy a ticket, go and support local music. The bands that we love to hear on the radio or the internet or anywhere, they all start somewhere, and they start in the little clubs in your city. So, you find a band you like, or a kind of music you like, or even a bar you like, go out when there's live bands, check them out, and if you like their music, talk to them, say hi, buy a T-shirt, that sort of thing. It's the music scene is, like I mentioned, it's suffering a little bit, and we, as indie bands everywhere, we need all the help and encouragement we can get.
And it's a night out on the town, at least.
Well, and we almost, across the board, it doesn't matter where you're from, we'll show you a good time. One thing that we can do is appreciate our fans and make sure that they feel that they are appreciated.
All right. Thank you so much for dropping by, my friend. We got some of your tunes lined up. We want to get everybody exposed to that. So
awesome.
That way we get you played. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for giving us a shout.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on the show, man.
Hey, take care, my brother.
Okay. Have a good day.
Later, man.
Bye. Bye. Rock on.